Okay, very good. No, thank you, Sam, again for the friendships and for such a warm introduction. I was just gonna make a comment that whenever, it's amazing how many things we do in life, right? And how many hats we wear. And when we put everything in one sentence, sounds like a lot, right? Like you were saying, when you're a mom, you're a coach, you are a corporate wellness promoter. Yeah, I mean, we all wear different hats, and it's just amazing how you compass everything in one sentence and it all of a sudden sounds like so much. But I'm just a regular person, just like most of everyone, right? Trying to live life and trying to find balance. I've been on the quest for personal development and finding my true calling in life for the majority of my life. So whatever I'm presenting to you guys, it's been the end of a lot of research and personal experiences. So hope you find the information resourceful. I do have a PowerPoint I would like to share with everyone. So let me know when you can see it. And I'm not sure, am I still here? Is it good?
We can't see the slides.
So how to reboot your brain and mentally reset. A little bit about myself. I'm a author. I run Awaken Wellness, lifetime athlete. I was very competitive for about 11 years. I did triathlons and running races. I've been pretty much on the quest for personal development, like I said earlier, for about most of my life. So it's just such an honor to be here and be able to share all this information with you. Hope you take some good things into your daily life. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's just probably for some of you, it's going to be new concepts. It's all in the wide conception of self-improvement. So glad that you're here. What we're going to be reviewing very quickly before we start talking about what affects the brain, I thought it would be a good idea to share with everyone a little bit about the physiological and psychological effects of the brain. The human brain, it's a human machine. It's a machine. It's a everything that you can think of, the way that we breathe, the way that we think, the way that we behave, everything is influenced by the brain. So the brain changes along our lives. We are born with it, and then it goes through different changes, alchemizing different processes within our system. So your brain has the capacity to change structure. So that's the beauty of it. That's the way that we can, think about the way that we eat, the way that we deal with stress, the way that we process emotions. All has to do also with any medications or any chronic disease that we may be having. So all that means that your reactions comes from the brain. Also, in medicine, doctors claim that the second brain is the stomach, so, or your gut. So if we can think about the same, having some similar capacities in our system, then we're on a good way to understanding how the brain can change and how the brain can be flexible. When we think about the front part of the brain, processing the personality, processing the hearing, we have the hypothalamus in the very back. Very important parts of what we are going to be discussing today, because it has to do with your intelligence and the way you process emotions. The middle of the part of the brain develops first when we are children, and that has to do with the emotional outbursts, anxiety, impulsive decisions, stress, of course, and first reactions. Other factors in the brain can cause changes in emotions and can diffuse disease, such as chronic disease. I mentioned earlier, it can be anything from multiple sclerosis. We can talk about any chronic disease that we may be having. Most of the common ones, diabetes could be one, also high blood pressure. So it can also affect the way emotions are processed in the brain, part of the section of the brain that processes those emotions, which can also be recognized clinically and changes in personality. This is why it's so important to maintain a balance in all aspects of our lives, including any supplement that we are taking, including any nutritional these balances we may be undergoing, and also, not least to say, any prescription medications. Everything is going to be processed. We might digest it. At the end of the day, it's going to be in the reaction of the brain and alongside our whole system. So when we think about the brain structure, we think about all the different sections. Some fun facts about brain. Brain doubles in size the first year of human life, triples in size by the third year. So that's how tremendous growth it goes through in the beginning of our lives. That's why, the way that we were raised, the way that the relationships we develop with our parents, all that has such an impact later down the road in our mental and health development. Massive synaptic connections occurred within those few years, and that can be either straightened or can change over time. So if the easiest ways to recognize any wrong patterns or any patterns that are not working for our development and not working for our own health and well-being. And that's one of the most difficult parts, because it's so hard to say, well, if I've been living my life the way I have, this is the way I eat, this is the way I process stress, then how am I going to change? Right? It just has to be some type of catalyst to ignite that change within us, either by interpersonal relationships or maybe by dealing with a chronic disease, like we were mentioning before. As much as we can also define stress as one important part emotion in the development of the brain. The National Institute for Mental Health defines stress as simple, the brain responds to any demand. With that given definition, we can think that stress is not that bad. And it really is not. It's a normal reaction, it's a human reaction. It has been embedded into our ways to deal with our external environment. And, when we think about being cavemen, down back in the days, that's the way we survived. So it's a good mechanism to deal with any external reactions. Now, the problem becomes when that stress becomes chronic. And over time, we just become somehow addicted to that rush and that way of thinking, right? Especially nowadays when our environment and circumstances may just have you go on a rush. Everything is just instant. If we think about internet, if you think about shopping online, right? You buy it, you see it, you like it, you have it. So we tend to think nowadays that life has to be set up that way. If it's not immediately there, something is wrong with us, and we become accustomed. And that's not the way the brain processes, especially when we're dealing with emotions and all the different changes that change in life brings, right? So chronic stress can really mess you up, and it can slowly make you slow down. It can have potential reactions as we start developing patterns reacting to anxiety, anger, affecting our interpersonal relationships with others and within ourselves. It can make you cause bad decisions in your life. It can even make you sick. So fear and other strong emotions that I have down in the PowerPoint, I have anxiety, anger, fear, and withdrawal as being one of the, a few of the most side effects of dealing with chronic stress. When we're stressed, afraid, anger, otherwise upset, it would be great if we could just quit working until the problem went away. It doesn't always work that way, right? So a feedback of that is the body starts reacting by trying to de-stress when we actually are just feeling overwhelmed. So it's that battle between the body and the mind. And it can be very deterring to the health of anyone if we could just schedule vacations around what's going on in our life for a year, right? It would be perfect. And we wouldn't have to deal with such amounts of tremendous stress in our daily life. But that's not feasible on a day-to-day situation. We cannot just take a year and just go out to an island somewhere or whatever, hiking trip or whatever fun or distressing means to you, and pretend that things are going to be okay everywhere around us. We have to work for where we're at, and what things that need our attention on a daily basis. So that's not always possible. We cannot just take 1 year, take vacation, though reality sometimes might want us pinpoint towards that direction. Most often that no, we can continue. We have to continue working despite the stress and other problems, but there are ways that definitely we can deal with it. One of them is by recognizing that the way that we are dealing with that chronic stress, it's not the most appropriate for our well-being. And I'm taking that everyone who signed up today, it's under that path. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to me right now. So kudos to you. There's light at the end of the tunnel. It's a daily battle. I don't think anyone is free from stress, like we referenced earlier. It's part of the daily, day-to-day life. It's just our reaction and how we can deal with it. Toxic damages to the brain result while stress itself cannot be reversed. And that buildup of cortisol hormone in the brain can have long-term effects like chronic illness. Though that can lead to tremendous amount of health issues, learning how to control it can lead for you to reboot your brain and have the capacity to outstand that cortisol level within your system and control the functions that are part natural process in your body. In moderation, the hormone of cortisol, it's perfectly normal and healthy. So it's about, again, guys, finding that internal balance. What I'm talking about is developing social emotional buffers. Self-control, it's number one. Coping and methods of how you cope with stress. Persistence, be there for yourself first and foremost. Keep your life organized. Planning helps out, even though too much planning can lead to anxiety. So be careful with that. Deal with anxiety and stress relief, build up buffers. Like I said, it would be perfect if we could all take a long year vacation to a secluded island somewhere. I know I've done that a couple of times in my life, and it's definitely very rewarding. But then again, I have to always go back to reality and face the problems that caused not being around much of the time for 1 year. So what can we really do then if that seems to be too out of the ordinary and know something that everyone can do on a day to day? I have created a list, guys, and I have 8 items I'm going to share with you. I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to try to explain as much as I can the 8 sections I have here, how to de-stress and cope with chronic stress. My suggestion as I go along the list, and we talk about this, if you have any questions, jot it down on a piece of paper or send them on the chat so we can talk about it more personally as we end up the recording, and then we discuss your personal questions. So number 1, I have understand your daily energy levels and what it takes for you to process emotions. This one is a very personal for me because I'm a type A personality, even though probably over the camera you couldn't tell. Maybe I'm looking to you to be a very calm, relaxed person. It has taken years to get me to where I'm at now. And that has to do with understanding exactly that first principle, understanding my daily energy levels. I know I'm built up to be high up, go get it. Too much of that means that automatically I'm creating stress around my environment to pursue what I need to pursue. Too much of that means that my brain has been wired from early childhood to go, go, go. If there's no any drama going on around my life, I'm bored. I'm not growing, I'm not moving on. It doesn't have to be that way. When we talk about balancing out your energy, we're talking about having those highs, not having the lows either, but understanding that life is a cycle of highs and lows. And then your happiness is finding that true middle. That true middle is an integration of a balanced body, mind, and soul. This is just the tip of the iceberg, right? There's tons of information out there. You can work with a personal coach. You can work with a personal life coach, whatever works for you, whatever speaks to you, that you're not living like me, but I tend to live too high, or I've met people that they just tend to be too low. They see the glass half full rather than half empty, right? Kind of situation. So that was number 1. Moving on the next one I have for you on my list, I have get enough sleep. 6 to 8 hours is preferred. Naps also can add up to that time that you're sleeping. So no better way I have found to reset your brain than taking a nap, taking a full 6-hour, 8-hour sleep. I know I'm guilty of that myself, having the cell phone available right next to my bedside, waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a shopping list that I need to go and get done the next day. The most preferred way to deal with it? Probably no. We're all guilty of it. So it's about recognizing, right? Well, what do I need to do? What changes do I need to implement in my life in order for me to achieve those 6 to 8 hours? Or the closest I can. If I can't do 6 hours, well, can I do 4 hours and maybe take a 2-hour nap throughout the day? So again, it's finding that balance around your interpersonal relationships, showing and understanding that you respect your own time. One thing that has worked for me a lot is setting up a bed routine. So I know like around 8:30 p.m., I'm going to start winding down my day. I'm going to start finishing up closing out the computer. I usually after that go for 20-minute, 30-minute mindful meditation just to center my thoughts, get in touch with myself, know that, it's been a good day. Now it's time to unwind. So having that routine at around 8:30 p.m. for me works. I'm an early riser. I usually wake up at 6 in the morning. So having that time, even though sometimes I'm not even tired, especially if I've been on the go a full day, later down through the evening, comes, 7:30 p.m., 8 p.m., my brain's still processing the day. I'm still on the go, but I try to make that mandatory, and it's a way of showing, understanding for myself and my own needs. So it's not being selfish. It's about taking care of ourselves. So the best that we can take of ourselves, then the best we can show up for others. For number 3 on the list, I have develop a system that works for you. And I'm referencing a routine like it eases up the mind. And this point, number 3, kind of ties up to number 2, right? Having a routine, showing up for yourself, knowing that having those boundaries of, whatever may be going on in life. I know that life is not perfect. Things are going to happen where you're going to have to kind of move around the times that you have set up for yourself, but try to stick as much as you can to your own schedule. Number 4, I have beautify your surroundings. There's a connection between what surrounds us and the way we connect to the world. And this has to do with energetic connection with the environment. And when we talk about beautifying your surroundings, I'm talking about being at ease and happy with the office where you're at, your house, your bedroom. If you like to take walks, that you feel at ease and peace to the place you're choosing to go out for a walk. So it's just when we feel connected to our surrounding environment, somehow it has a psychological effect in our brain that the cortisol level will slow down and you don't feel so much that you have to protect, that you have to be on the go. It creates somehow a safe haven where it's okay. You can be yourself. You don't have to worry about, is the room too dark? Is it too cluttered? It's just perfect for you. So I'm not saying that, go and clean out your house and move to a different town and create big changes. I'm not talking about that, but small changes create such a big component in our subconscious mind. And for that, we put in your brain. When we talk about being happy with your surroundings, and what I'm referencing is more in the terms of, if you have a cluttered drawer, clean it up. If it bothers you, just clean it up. And you're gonna see how those small changes create such an impact in your psyche and for that in your health and well-being. Number 5, I have lunch with friends, relay and build up your social and support system. On my website, I have a blog. It's free for anyone who wants to check it out and receive weekly messages. I try to write every week a different topic. And I have a pretty good blog there I did about a couple of weeks ago about supporting your systems. And it's amazing how the social connection with our family, friends, social close circle, even coworkers, create such an impact in our daily health and wellness routine. We've all, undergone through different changes. If we talk about a couple years ago, last year, with the pandemic, everything going on, and we can see how human beings tend to, even though we couldn't meet in person, we could still find ways to use either Zoom or internations. It's a great way to keep connected. And listening to other people's perception, it doesn't have to be that you have to agree with everybody, but it gives you a different point of view. Some of them, you may agree with, but it builds up that social connection. As humans, we are empaths and we lack connection with others. We're social beings. It's in our nature, it's in our DNA. Even though if we try to be by ourselves and disconnect with the world, I can guarantee you there's really not much you can go, and not long enough time that you can go without lacking and hearing some other people's voices and social interaction. So having lunch, if you can, where you're at, maybe it's not completely open, you cannot meet with people on a face-to-face situation, but hey, do some online. There's so many resources up there that you can, have a Zoom or a call with someone and have lunch with them. Try to disconnect from the day to day. Have fun topics to talk about. Again, I think internations, it's a great way to accomplish that goal. For number 6, I have another favorite of mine, and I have exercise. And when I talk about exercise, I talk about keeping your body moving. It doesn't have to be strenuous workout of 30 minutes, an hour at the gym. It doesn't have to be like that, but you can very well take a 15-minute break, go outdoors on a brief walk, and then in that way you are acting up your metabolism, you are moving, you are surrounding and developing your cope mechanisms as far as dealing with stress, as well as you're connecting with nature or whatever the case may be. You may be connecting if you go on a walk in an indoor public place, then you're connecting with people, right? And it again goes back to connecting with social environment, surroundings. So it's a whole holistic way to see things. I was very competitive athlete for many years. I know what it takes to, be out and about and full of commitments and things like that, and getting your body a full workout. And it doesn't have to be a full workout for you to reach your health goals. There's always a balance. Like I said, if cardio or working out it's not for you, then choose another activity. Yoga or meditation might works as well. It's a tremendous amount of energy whenever we're doing and engaging in any of those activities. But again, exercise is just such an important integral way of rebooting your system and of course rebooting your brain. For number 7, I have play music. Music relaxes the mind and it's a good for the soul. Jam your way out of a good tune. Wasam had a very good tune going on when before we started the presentation today. So good music, music that talks to you. Say it loud, dance. If you don't know how to dance, just pretend you're dancing. If you do that, probably you're getting a good workout out of it. If not, just, a good music that sets the mood and set you on a good path to have a good day or reboot the day that you're having. And last but not least, I have meditate or pray. There's mindfulness involved in resetting the brain. It's a huge role in rebooting not just the brain, but the whole system. When we talk about meditation or praying, we're focusing our energy on a different way to see things. We are in a way of acceptance when we pray and meditate. And that means that we're open to understand different ways, and we're open to understand different changes that we may go through in life. As human beings, it's normal reaction to refuse change in our lives because we like to create that schedule and that monotony of the day. It's part of our human brain and our human daily life. But how can we expect a change in our health or our wellness if we don't try new things, if we don't try new ways to see life and try new methods that we don't know if it's going to work and or if it's not going to work, but it's about taking changes. And meditating and praying usually opens up the mind to accept the good things that can come our way. And that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I have included there a few free resources that you can access online as far as healthy tips, brain function, healthy tips, if you're interested in learning more about the brain. I have my blog. The first one is my blog. You can access that completely free to sign up if that's something that you feel you resonate with. And also my email, if you have any other questions or if you would like any other topics that we can bring up and discuss within the group. I know Wasam, you know, she'll be looking into those and see if there's something that we can continue doing. So again, I thank everybody for your time. I hope that you find this information resourceful.